What's up, guys? Welcome to the Being Beautifully Honest podcast and channel. Thanks for being here and for being subscribed. If you're not, go ahead and hit that button. And if you're listening on YouTube, hit that like button. It's like walking in a room and hitting that light switch. Let's brighten up the place and get into this reality chat. All right, guys. So I recently talked about the reality show Reckoning, the Vanity Fair article referencing Bethenny's call for changes in I would say the reality show world, but, Bravo is, in terms of reality TV networks, I would say they're pretty top tier versus the others like the WE TVs and the VH1s and the TLCs. I'm just saying, I don't know what everybody's pockets are looking like, but I'm assuming that most Real Housewives are getting paid more than $1,000 per episode. I am not here to say that they're all making millions of dollars per season, but anyway, I talked about the fact that Eboni K. Williams, she was interviewed for the article and she was discussing some things with regards to Ramona, and she talked about these things before. So a lot of us, we had already heard these things, right? Well, since this has come out and she was foolish enough, meaning Ramona, to speak to a Page 6 reporter to pretty much admit to using a racial slur by partially using it in a text with the Page 6 reporter, it's no wonder that they were just at this point, okay, yeah, let's just go ahead and cut her. But I'm not going to give Bravo any grace because they knew that this chick was like this. I mean, you could look at her drunk self. I mean, if you watch The Real Housewives of New York, she was always drinking Pinot Grigio. Get my Pinot Grigio. She is, in my opinion, the consummate drunk who really just says stupid crap that's just on the top of her head, not considering anyone else's feelings. I mean, she said things that are just very uncaring and hurtful even to Bethenny. And I remember watching Real Housewives of New York and seeing it, right? But Bravo, they have rewarded her for bad behavior by continuing to bring her back season after season after season. And then even when they decided to nix the entire cast of the Real Housewives of New York and do a reboot, they have had her on Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip the first season, where if you watched it, you saw Kenya calling her out. She said, "Who the F do you think you are, Ramona?" And then she is supposed to be on another one of these Ultimate Girls trips, okay? Where it's like the legacy cast of Real Housewives of New York. So it's her, Luann, Sonia, I think also Kelly Ben-Simone. They're still going to air it. Don't get me wrong. So her being fired and not being invited to BravoCon, it's just, yeah, I don't care about this chick. But Bravo, they're just like, okay, we just need to take the heat off of ourselves right now because we already got a lot of heat on us. BravoCon is here and we don't want this to be the focus. Although I believe, and I said it in my conversation before, that I felt like the timing of the release of this article was definitely by design because they wanted it to be around the same time as BravoCon because this is their big yearly event, okay? But anyway, the story is that just hours after Ramonasinger texted part of a racial slur to a Page 6 reporter, and this is coming from Page 6, her name disappeared from the BravoCon app. The former Real Housewives of New York City star was expected to attend this upcoming weekend's 3-day event in Las Vegas, but a source tells Page 6 exclusively that she will no longer be attending the festival in light of her actions. Page 6 had reached out to Singer for her reaction to Vanity Fair's expose about Bravo, which alleged she had used the N-word in conversation with a Black crew member during production of season 13. And I talked about that. In her response, she attempted to defend herself, but ended up using a version of the slur once again. Quote, and the word I used was N-word, not N-I-G, blank, 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 or dot, dot, dot. She texted a Page Six reporter on Tuesday. The Vanity Fair feature claimed that Singer's alleged use of the racial slur became a complaint within Shed Media, Warner Brothers Discovery, Bravo, and NBC Universal. At the time, Singer denied using the slur, and the results from an internal investigation were inconclusive. Wink, wink. However, Eboni K. Williams, who was interviewed by Vanity Fair for the same expose, claimed the 66-year-old reality TV star made other offensive comments in the past. Williams, who was the first Black housewife to appear on RHONY, claims Singer said most Black people don't have fathers present in their lives while participating in a training with two racial justice representatives, a publicist from Bravo, and a communications expert from NBC Universal. What if they don't have a father? Why can't I say that? Singer allegedly asked, according to Williams, 40. Most of them don't. RHONY alum Leah McSweeney, who also was interviewed for the expose, corroborated Williams' account. Singer, however, told Vanity Fair, the training included open dialogue. In that spirit, I asked a question about a statistic. I had read about single-parent households where children with single-parent households were statistically less likely to succeed than two-parent households. And so Page Six exclusively reported that Singer allegedly said, this is why we shouldn't have Black people on the show. And if you watched that season, then you know that it is something that Ramona and Luann, they both felt uncomfortable having conversations with Eboni. Because, yeah, on that season, Luann kicked Eboni out of her house while they were filming. So we didn't see Ramona on camera say anything like, see, this is why we shouldn't have Black people on the show. But I could see her saying something like that. The girl is just very uncouth. And for her to say, well, most of them don't. If they don't have fathers in the household, then why can't I talk about that? Well, first of all, why would you even want to talk about it if it's not a topic of discussion, right? So that didn't even really make any sense. So it was just to be disparaging. It's just like someone who is Caucasian that would say, well, why can't I say the N-word? Because they say it. My question would be, why would you even want to say it? Because every Black person does not use that word. Every Black person doesn't agree with using that word. And why would you want to say it? Why would you want to call someone that? You know what I mean? So for people who ask questions like that, you kind of already know the answer, so you don't even need to ask them that question. But not only has she been fired from BravoCon, she has been fired from her real estate job. So she was fired from her real estate job with all the racism allegations going on. She's terminated from her job at Douglas Elliman, and this was exclusively told to Page Six. Douglas Elliman employs more than 7,000 real estate agents and has 113 offices across the country. She was, as you know, also pulled from BravoCon, and you just can't be in this space of, even though she probably, in my opinion, doesn't really want to work with Black clients, let's just be real, but you can't be in a space like that and expect people to just be okay with you saying things like that, feeling however you want to feel. But what I will say, and this is not in defense of Ramona, so don't believe and don't think that that's what I'm saying. Eboni, I feel she was right to call out Bravo, to call out Ramona, to basically be honest about the things that happen. I don't have an issue with that. But I don't believe that she was right for this show. The reason being is I just feel that, I mean, to be honest with you, and this is not a knock to anyone who is on these housewife shows to say that they're not smart or bright or professional or whatever. But I just feel that she just was not a good fit for the show. And I said this a while ago. I never really did reality show reviews. Every now and then I might come on and talk about a reality show that I watched. But I just didn't feel that she was a good fit for it. I let my thoughts be known that I felt like she was more of a fit for a show like The View or, something along that front where they're talking about politics as well as entertainment and, current events and news and, things going on in the blogs every once in a while. That I felt was more appropriate for her than to be a Real Housewife. I just didn't feel that it was a good fit for her. And also, if she was going to be a housewife, I just didn't feel that cast that they were bringing her on with was going to be a good mix because they had never had another ethnicity housewife on there. Now, there was a season when one of the housewives who was on, her father was dating this younger African-American chick. She was like a nail tech. And I do remember that. And they were questioning that girl and giving her the third degree. God, if I could remember her name, I would say it right now. If any of you remember that, let me know in the comment section. But I remember it specifically. And they were giving her the third degree. I mean, they really were. And honestly, they were looking at her like she was a whore and a prostitute, when in actuality, that Real Housewife whose dad was dating this young lady, they should have been looking at him more as the dirty old man versus looking at her as this paid for whore, if you will, because I feel like that's how they were looking at her, when in actuality, she was a professional in the beauty industry. She owned her own nail salon, and she even had a reality show for like a little bit. I just cannot remember her name. So if any of you remember that, let me know in the comment section below. But they never had someone who was on the show who was of other ethnicity as a Real Housewife. So to bring her on with these older Caucasian women in their 60s, hitting 70 in a few years, to have them going through diversity training and making sure that they're not making racist statements and racist comments, although they shouldn't do that. But sometimes you get to the point where you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And what I mean by that is some of those people, they're just so used to being in their ways. They're settled. They don't want to change. And that's who they are. So to bring someone like Eboni on to make her feel like she has to be this racial justice warrior, she has to educate them, she has to say, all right, now, watch your tone, watch the words you say, make sure you're not being in this space of using microaggressions and all this other, like, it was making me even feel uncomfortable to watch. And I checked out. I stopped watching it. I really was rooting for her to be on the show, but I just really was like, I see where this is going, and I'm just not really interested. And I stopped watching it. And I feel a lot of people felt the same way too and did the same thing. So I'm saying all of these things to just reiterate my point that Eboni was not right for this show, but she was not wrong in calling these things out. And hey, if she had to be the catalyst to come in to get Ramona's drunk ass up out of there, I'm all for it, because I don't like Ramona. She is just who she is, and she's never going to change. You think she's not using every Nigger right now, calling Eboni and whoever else that ratted her out, so to speak? You better believe she's using those words right now, because that's who she is. So I just wanted to talk about that really quick, guys. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Thank you so much for being here, for liking and subscribing. I'm Beth, just being beautifully honest. So until the next time, I wanted to keep it brief, beautiful, and now I'm going to say bye.